Hey, I am Michael Santos with Prison Professors, and I'm continuing to show our book, the Earning Freedom 2021 Journal. This is the January edition, but really this is an ongoing book because every day I've got opportunities for people to write down what they're learning, what steps they're taking to position themselves for a successful outcome. And it's something that I want everybody to be doing if they're watching this program. I know that a lot of the guys that are watching this are inside of a jail or a prison, and usually I make these videos in front of my Mac. And it's not as good of a camera as I'm using right now, but over the past 24 hours, I've been really working hard building a series of marketing assets that I can use to introduce our programs to business leaders who may be interested in compliance mitigation, which is the new business that I am launching. And I thought it might be helpful for me to show you what that process looks like. So as I move myself over off the screen today, I'm going to be showing you some of the work that I have been doing. And you'll see it all starts with a conversation with a marketing person, and we talk about who is the right audience for our group. And the right audience that we are trying to attract are business owners that run businesses that are small to medium size in revenues. So that means revenues of $2 million a year to $100 million a year. And I know somebody may think that a $100 million a year business is really a very large business, but that's relative. I mean, there are some products that sell automobiles, for example. There might be an automobile dealer that has, a few lots and he sells 100 cars or a couple hundred cars a month, and every one of those cars is $20,000, $25,000. It turns out to be a big revenue number. So a $100 million revenue company doesn't necessarily mean a very large company. What they all have in common between $2 million and $100 million is they're all vulnerable to scrutiny from regulators of different government agencies. And I mean any kind of agency. I showed you in a video a couple of days ago that I was working on developing a contractor agreement for our own company because we've got our own complexities. When we're trying to build, hire people or provide jobs for formerly incarcerated people, some of those people come from coast to coast. We've got people from Connecticut, we've got people from Washington, we've got people in Florida, and of course, I'm here in California where my partner is also based in California. So we're all over, and every one of these states has different laws pertaining to employment. And if you don't abide by those laws, a business owner can find himself immersed in a government investigation. And when that happens, you can see massive costs. So what we're trying to do is, I can tell you what our team at Compliance Mitigation is trying to do is show people how to avoid those complications by simply building a very transparent model showing the good faith effort a person has made to comply with rules and regulations. And we believe that if you look at the different policies in play and you have other subject matter experts helping you, you've got a much better chance of avoiding complications with civil regulators and with criminal investigators or prosecutors. But even though you can move forward in a good faith effort to avoid a problem, that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody on your team is following those policies. And so we want to create a transparent, documented effort of what best practices are within a company. And then we want to provide business owners with tools that they can use to train their teams. And that way, at least the business owner can move forward with his dignity intact and speak, in a compelling way that he did not have any knowledge of what somebody else is doing, and that may or may not shield him from a civil investigation, but it should definitely shield him from a criminal investigation. And our nation's prison population is filled with white-collar offenders who are serving time even though they didn't have an intention of committing a crime, and sometimes they didn't even have knowledge that they were committing a crime. So because we've got a deep bench of subject matter experts who may be former physicians, they may be former bankers, they may be former investment advisors, CEOs, or business owners. What they all have in common is at one point, a government investigation began. That government investigation may have begun for a number of reasons. Either a media report published some information about the company, and that stirred the curiosity of investigators. It may be a consumer that filed a complaint with some consumer advocacy group like the Better Business Bureau or something like that, and that brought on investigations. It could have been one of the agencies themselves. If it's a securities brokerage house, for example, or an investor, there are going to be people at the Securities and Exchange Commission who are looking for unusual trades, and they can look and say, well, when was it made? What information did they have? And so our job is to help people understand the ways that government investigations begin, the safety measures that somebody can put in place to avoid a government investigation. We like to provide training tools that will help everybody on the team understand how decisions they make on the job can have an influence on the prospects of a government investigation. We want to provide business owners with a response plan so that they can train their team members on what to do if there is a government investigation, because they always begin in secret, but a lot of times the investigators will reach out and go after different people that may have some knowledge about the company, whether it's a banker who's looking at deposits and they want to provide information, whether it is a receptionist, whether it is somebody, a competitor, whether it is a supplier. All of those people may start the investigation by cooperating as witnesses. And some of those witnesses may advance as the investigators become more interested in them. They may turn into subjects, which really puts them in a little bit more danger. And then they may become targets. And if somebody becomes a target, it's almost a matter of time before that person will come into the crosshairs of the criminal justice system and be targeted with white-collar crime. Or perhaps it's just a civil investigation that results in either an injunction, a fine, disgorgement, or other penalties that can really cripple the organization. So the more we teach business owners how easily their what they take to be as a successful business could be at risk, the better service we can provide. And we do that by, as I said, bringing people in who never dreamed that they would ever become a target of a government investigation, but they found themselves going to prison. We want to do our part to stop that. In fact, we have a motto that says, we did the time, so you won't have to. And if you are somebody who's in prison, but is coming out and looking for job opportunities, we try to offer those job opportunities for people who have the appropriate skill set to deal with the business community. And the business community really does want to hear from people who have skills and has knowledge of what happened. How did the government come? How much did it cost? I mean, the attorneys that represent businesses and individuals in government investigations are generally pretty high on the on the earnings scale for government investigations. So, with billings rates starting at the $400 an hour range and going to sometimes $1,500 an hour, you can see how quickly the costs of a government investigation can ramp up. And so we would advise the people that work with us to develop really strong and comprehensive insurance policies for officers and directors insurance. We would advise them, make sure that they have a very solid storyline of their company, every aspect of the company, from the time that they go to hire their team, how they train their team, what type of job descriptions they have for the company. We would urge them to really articulate best practices at every function within the organization, whether it's sales, finance, marketing, operations. All those different areas should be well defined of how is the company operating. And then they should have some really clear guidance tools that help people follow along along with a nice company manual. And we certainly do that for our company and try to show people how they can do it for their company as well. But what I wanted to show people of our YouTube channel at Prison Professors is really the difference between this would be considered high quality video footage, because I'm using a more expensive camera. And I have two cameras. You see, I have one that I'm looking straight ahead. I have another one that's over there to capture this side of a shot. Now, after I take these video clips, I'm going to plug them into an editing software. And of course, I'm not a professional video editor. I'm somebody who's learned how to do this on my own, just like you will have to learn these different techniques on your own. I will mix this video. It will then go into a landing page, and my marketing team will create an ad, which I filmed last night, and I'll show it to you on this video. It'll show an ad. People will click on the ad to download a free book, which of course I had to write in advance. And then when they click on the ad to get a free book, Facebook will deliver the book, but it will simultaneously capture their name, their email, their phone number, and it will direct them then to a thank you page, which I create, and I filmed a different video there, and I invited them to book an appointment with our team. So that's the process. It takes a lot of steps, a lot of moving parts, but if I didn't prepare myself while I was in prison, I never would have been able to do that. And that's why I would encourage you, if you're going into the prison, be thinking about what can I be doing today to position myself for a successful career when I come home. And, it's just that concept of you've got to learn how to crawl before you can walk and walk before you can run. But what you could be doing right now is ordering books that will help you develop stronger critical thinking skills. Certainly, our journal is going to help you with that. But you would also have, other books that might help you answer questions. And if you can learn how to turn your thoughts into sentences and paragraphs, you are going to be more skilled at communicating. And your skills in communicating are going to help position you for employment contracts or opportunities. They're going to show you how you can bring value to more people. And all of a sudden, instead of being a detriment, your criminal background, it may become a strength, as it has been for me, where I've used my background of showing how I can overcome struggle to create new job and income opportunities and new skills. But you've got to learn how to write. You've got to learn how to read. You've got to learn how to communicate well. Then when you come home, you've got to learn how to use tools like creating audio files, creating video files, creating Facebook pages, creating landing pages, creating websites. It's just there are a lot of moving parts to building a business, and it all starts with the decisions that you're making right now. So I would really encourage you, get a copy of the Earning Freedom Journal and start documenting your effort. You can use this evidence to help you raise capital, to help you build a strong support network, to help you show why people should believe in you. That's definitely what I do, and I never ask anybody to do anything I didn't do while I was in prison and that I'm not still doing right now. You see, I film one of these videos every single day. What else do I have to say? If you're watching this on YouTube, I do hope that you will subscribe. You do that just by hitting the button in the YouTube banner above. And if you scroll down, you can get the show notes in the notes of the YouTube channel, or you could visit us at our websites at prisonprofessors.com or compliancemitigation.com, or at any of our Facebook channels or iTunes channels. We are here to help you, and we do hope that you will find value in what we're offering. We did the time so you won't have to, and at least we hope that we'll teach and inspire you through these messages every day. I am Michael Santos, and on behalf of our entire team, I thank you for being a part of our community.